stuck on a feeling. InShalla and Ashe. Blessings to you, my energetic beings. Yes, I'm a little slow today, but either way, I have arrived. And as we climb into our cosmic highway, you know, we really are moving into the realm of spirit. Having a sacred space to connect with spirit, an altar, a shrine, or 10. This is done really by creating sacred space to be really in touch with our heart, our frequencies, our feelings, what we believe. And if we don't truly believe it, it will not happen. And believing comes way before seeing or sight. Our heart has to feel it like it belongs, connected to the other realms, and our thoughts can't be arguing if it's true or not, or be in a state of disbelieving or disarray if it's true or not. Again, our mind really has to listen to the connection to spirit. It's in that sacred space. And we also need to be kind of like the receiver, the beacon that really tunes into these messages, so we can have our reception center open, if you will. Not really praying for them, because we're not really praying. We are in this listening phase to allow the messages of the greater spirit, the divine, the creator, the oneness, whatever resonates, to really just flow in. And in doing so, we then connect with the realm of the other world, the spiritual realm. Between the veils, between the seen and the unseen, this spiritual membrane, if you will, between all these galactic realms. And we can sense our guides, the Akashic, the book of life, the book of shadows. We can channel all the juice in, if you will. All the things that channel into our feelings, we can feel in our bodies, right? Our spirit, and then into our mind. So things that take form and things that do not take form, it's like the manifest and the pre-manifest. We're aware of all of these things all of the time, and we might not be aware that we are aware. However, if we are in the season of spirit, being self-compassionate, being in the season of Pisces, to the self, going with the flow, you know, have you ever really watched somebody who is born in the season of Pisces, a Pisces sun, a sun in Pisces? You know, they're usually just flowing in a state of a spirit stream. They just have faith in this galactic universe, otherworldly, or they are in the opposing force, the escapism of it. Generally artists, poets, musicians, poetry, you know, writers. Yeah, otherworldly, painters, that was the word I was thinking of. So this just brings in, which I'm super stoked to share some insight about, is the archangel, the angelic being, Sandalphon, brother to Metatron. So interesting, two forces there. But either way, welcome to today's daily snippet. I'm a practicing holistic shamedium, being your host, a subtle energetic surgeon, just merging these indigenous technologies. The spirit of West Africa, the Dagara tribe, Burkina Faso, just really a lot of juice there. Yeah, the elementals, I dream about them, the elemental beings. Basically, it's the elemental realm into the imaginal realms, with offerings, rituals, prescriptions to add to all of the juice in our personal container. But really my intention is to merge these indigenous technologies, these offers and rituals and prescriptions in the subtle realms, the etheric highway, to assist you into navigating your prime directive, what's also called your inner genius, your life purpose, just reintroducing yourself to and through the essence, the magical being that really resides within you. My name is Tonya D, and welcome once again to my virtual medicine room. And if you haven't already, please be kind and do subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ashe, Tonya D, and hit the bell button so you're actually notified. And also, if you don't mind, liking my videos, commenting, so the YouTube algorithm will echo out and actually suggest me to other like-minded musers in the galactic universe. But with the moon being in the season of Libra, our emotions seek balance. They want harmony. They really want to feel harmonized, the harmonics, the soul's harmonics. And being that we are in the threads of spirit, I'm actually going to go with my seers to communicate the messages of the day. Really, I sense all of them are spiritually induced, but just different sources of messaging, right? With the messages. But first up, we have the Page of Pentacles, which I've pulled this before, the message. not this way, but yes, it's literally flipped upside right as I was moving the cards. It was just flipped out. So I was like, okay, you want to be heard. You want to be part of the journey today. So she's holding this mandala, which is super juicy. And, you know, she's got this curious heart. Her roots, she's literally rooted, one-legged. It's like she's in that yoga pose. Rooted into manifesting the essence that we all hold within us. And just remembering those childhood dreams, if you will. Maybe you were floating on a towel like a genie, or grounding that energy. You know, you want to sink that in before it dissipates, that otherworldly frequency. Because we can literally activate practical magic within our own hopes, and we can pull this energy up from the earth to really bring it into form and see progress happening. It's like one little life stage at a time, or one baby step. And ultimately, we have to anchor into the details, while at the same time simultaneously keeping our head in the clouds in the dream. So maybe these pieces that still need to kind of fall into alignment, but that doesn't mean they're not going to arrive. We're in the perfect place to kind of figure out how to make our prosperity spirit reality, utilizing really the season of Pisces. So we can seek confidence, be dependable to ourselves first, and then to the other. And just remembering that we hold this power no matter where we stand today. This isn't like a one and done. It's not only for today. Because we can bring in new perspectives. We can upgrade our consciousness on the way, on our pathway. So we can use our plans for the future to actually expedite our arrival, or its arrival. But being that she is otherworldly, maybe it's time to be committed and start a progress to move forward, climbing into our skin and bringing our dreams into the earth plane, into reality, so they totally can manifest. So remember the dreams for those of you that are in any of my offerings, my offering group. Knowing that we can be practical and also realistic and still run ahead to kind of meet our dreams. So I think this message is definitely to dream on and not to leave our dreams and our worth out in the clouds, right? To bring them down into our reality. I actually did a divination for a girl, and I was like, well, you know, they're up in the pie there. You got to pull them in and anchor them. They can't just be floating in time and space. Or I guess they can. They just won't come to fruition. And then we have the 10 of Cups. And just knowing that this has this powerful energy of connecting with our hearts, the big galactic giant juice of love, and just being devoted and connected and accepted. So this often is seen as one of the biggest galactic, super juicy, happy families. So it's definitely a galactic yes for relationships and for love. It's predicting our fairy tale ending, if you will. And hey, we all get to decide what this fairy tale ending looks like. Unicorn, otherworldly fairy tale, whatever that is. We're all individual and should light up our heart ultimately and blow up our skirt, right? So just allowing our heart, the expansive energy of our heart, to pour into all of our connections, our little connectors, if you will, these streams. It includes those within our community. So this is like living in a state of oneness or gratitude by bringing harmony and love to our relationships on the day-to-day, our relationship to the self or the other. It's not always, it's our inner garden first and then our outer garden waves out. But also our inner world, you know, that's the corridor. So it's just having those divine otherworldly connections and being open and expanding with our heart space. And being that Jupiter and also Venus are both in Pisces, that really is the spirit connection between receiving the message and expanding, taking it up a notch to the next level, to literally take in the message, the signs, the signals, the bat signal, if you will, that the universe is kind of elevating and bringing to us, if we'll close off the mental clutter, right? It's kind of how that works. And then we have the Two of Swords. She's super juicy, and I don't know if you can see it, but she's got a sigil on her arm, like about right here, and I totally love sigils. I just think they're amazing. They're fun to create, but we all should have a sigil of something here and there, right? I usually put them on my bay leaves and do a little offering, but You know that feeling of not knowing, right? That's kind of the message of this card, the feeling of the not knowing. So it's time kind of to make a choice. It may seem like you've been between a rock and a hard place, between those thread lines, because we're in spirit season. So if you can't decide which way to go or which way to flow, it's because we can't see the bigger picture, the forest through the trees or the trees through the forest yet. So the Two of Swords is whispering that we must move in one direction. Make a choice. Close our eyes and really listen to our internal guidance system, our beacon, that map that's otherworldly. So if your intuition is kind of fallen, unusually silent, the sound of silence, it's kind of asking us to trust ourselves and our ability to discern and also to decide. So even like in the blindness, we already know the best way to move forward. It's like when we act, the future is going to reveal itself, and it will help us to move forwards towards those dreams. And ultimately having faith that the universe is serving us the right experience on our platter at this crossroads of duality. Our analysis, overthinking maybe, will just kind of get buried deeper into the quicksand of a million possible endings. So really find peace of mind by trusting your judgment, your beacon, your map. So when we're blinded by the unknown, just know that we can truly trust, ultimately trust ourselves to move towards the light, the beacon of light. So this is a message of having to kind of make a difficult choice. We might feel confused or have the angst of the unknown, or even just fear of the commitment itself. Make you feel, sometimes as if we are between a rock and a hard place, in between those realms. And also, just to add to the juice of the day, I thought this was great. We have the Four of Cups. So, are you, and if so, finding yourself bored, unsatisfied, frustrated with your current situation? Know that you are likely missing those vibrant landscapes, if you will. I don't know if you can see all the decor in this card, but there's a lot of landscapes that are present, and they're just oftentimes beyond our peripheral. Everything always comes in my left eye, but often we become so focused on our own internal perspective, that little small frequency, that our feelings about a situation can prevent us from noticing the arrival of the extraordinary, the otherworldly opportunities and remarkable things, expecting the unexpected. So if we remain open to shifting, I think of shifting, how you used to sift flour. If we remain open to shifting just a little bit, just a nugget even, in order to see our situation in just a fantastic otherworldly new light, we're going to learn from the present moment that things are filled with the most otherworldly dynamic magic. Instead of focusing on what we don't have right now, focus on what we do have. And even better, spend the energy focusing our thoughts on the experience that we will create in the future. So it's like taking time to meditate and slowing down our mind, taking a breath, taking a pause. That's going to show us that life is better than oftentimes it appears or it seems. But it really is ultimately up to us to shift into the abundance available to each and every one of us in the now, so we see the fullness and the richness and the bounty of our lives. But again, being that it's otherworldly, I don't know if you can see her sigils as well, but they're also super exciting as well. They're on her hand, the side of her hand. But it's like we've been focusing on the negative, maybe being pessimistic. So just flip the switch and go with gratitude, and maybe stop complaining. Get an otherworldly, if you don't, everything for me is otherworldly, but get like an otherworldly point of view through the eye of God, basically, or source, or an ancestor. I lit my candles. I did a bunch of rituals this morning. That's why I'm hopping on here later. What rituals I needed to get them in before too far into the year, actually. And then on the elemental highway, I know this looks similar to yesterday, but again, I was like running like a snail. I do a lot of offerings and rituals quite regularly for myself and the collective. But this is a yin rabbit of a day. So yin metal is the element really needed to produce more water and counterbalance all of that elemental wood. But our day is very yin, that's inward. All the yang energy is the outer world. So yeah, I would go inward to do some transformation, meditation, get some personal clarity. You know, water is clarity, reconciliation, peace, inner peace. The rabbit is transformation. Rabbits hop around. They're overly producing. My neighbors got rabbits. They're always overly productive in more ways than one. But we need yang fire, which we have hidden. That'll regulate the metal, which there is none of. So, you know, if you yourself have metal as an element, the yang fire is going to bring warmth to your heart, which is still thawing out from the cold chill of the winter. We really don't need any water or wood energy of the day, right? We need the yin elements. We need yin water. That would be okay. Metal of any kind of metal stuff. That it really is decision making. It's organization. It's leadership, stuff like that. Fire, though. Fire is kind of a necessity. Once again, because we need the yin fire to balance our day, along with the yang fire. Fire is the elemental. Yang fire is the sun. It's hidden. It can break free, though. That's the cool part about the elementals. And earth. Earth would actually be a great element to use for our day as well. Earth, like the soil, maybe start planting your plants or thinking about what you want to plant. I have to buy trees myself for my village. That's a whole nother story, looking at trees, what kind of plant. Light a candle, connect with spirit through the waters, the pathways of clarity, the rivers, the streams, just flowing to the highway of elevating peace. The heart, you know, really is the pie of a chart, whether it's a cosmic chart, astrology, or the elementals. The heart is the pie of the chart, really. It's like how our heart vibrates is unique to each and every one of us. As well. And I didn't find a picture of Archangel Sandalphon, but he is online for the entire season of Pisces, and I love Sandalphon. I just want to dive into his frequency. And being that he is one of the two angelic beings other than Metatron, they've both been said to have lived on Earth, so this really connects him to the natural world, so he can really assist us to get those things done, accomplishing our deepest desires here in the physical world, but also he has the frequency to take those galactic wishes, our dreams here, to fulfill them like heaven to earth, kind of that kind of frequency. And that's kind of what has been known of his sole purpose, is to deliver our prayers to the galactic universe, God universe, to inspire humanity to take really care of the planet, the environment, because we're part of it, right? We're part of the cosmic realm in this dimension as well. So while we're living as human beings on Earth, Sandalphon and his twin brother, Metatron, which I always find curious, he actually downloaded into me last year at the same time. They both were brought before God, and they transformed, or God transformed them, source, divine, whatever, great spirit, into these angelic beings that we can call upon. So they both had a human experience that allowed them to ground into our spiritual practice and tap into the divine source. So they carry our prayers and our wishes and our dreams and our messages and desires straight to the source, if you will. So this angelic being, like I've called on him more often than not lately, or actually just frequents me, probably both. But he's great to call on when we need help, we need guidance, confirmations on manifesting, whether it's our dreams or our goals, whatever that looks like. But he's also been known, this is why I love him so dearly, he's the archangel to connect deeply with us through music, through sound. So if you ever find yourself like humming a tune or turning on the radio, or, you know, just you hear a song playing that gives you exactly what you needed to hear, that's Sandalphon. And he can provide us with both mental and emotional and even spiritual, I think, or physical through sound, beautiful sound, majestic sound, music. And he can also provide us with inspiration. He can take us down a trip of memory lane to the bones, sends us powerful confirmations to questions that we need answered to, or just simply a way to kind of de-stress over a long day, shifting our vibration, our energies and our frequencies. So when you notice a connection to music, you literally are in the frequency, in the presence of Sandalphon. That's why he's so super cool, because he's easier to know that he's frequenting us. And again, because he's been an earthly being, he's known as the protector of the unborn. So some say he can even help determine the gender of the unborn. So you can call him in really all year long. It's just he's more online during this season. That's kind of how I see him. So we can call him in during a pregnancy to offer protection for the baby and the mother and the womb, basically the whole frequency of it, just to be safe during the whole process. But he's just widely known as actually being one of the tallest archangels as well. What I found was curious is he stretches from the earth all the way to the heavens, the heavenly realm. So his feet are always planted on the ground. So it really is this cosmic highway. And most people associate colors and sounds of nature with Sandalphon, his presence, because again, he's known to have this strong and grounded energy, and primarily coppers, golds, mixed with some blues, magentas, the aquas, even red tones. So those kind of are connected more with him. And also, he really has a special connection to music. So, you may want to receive messages through music, whether it's a song that keeps popping in your head or the radio. So just kind of take notice of the sound you hear, because Sandalphon may be looking to connect and also guide us or you to where we need to be. But he's also been said to be wearing a white robe, playing a golden harp. And also what I love is like he's connected with the animals, frogs, crickets, birds, insects that sing and create like a melody. And I always connect with crickets. So I found that was awesome. Just sounds, any sounds actually represent him in animal form. And again, because he's been one of these two twins that have landed as human and has risen to this angelic status, he's also known as praying. He's the one that delivers our messages, our prayers, our invocations to the divine world, as also he's linked with the tree of life. So he's symbolic of our relationship both with the earth and the sky. So he really knows the message and the power of prayer and what it means to pray, what it means to receive answers to those prayers. So once again, being human, his energy is swift, it's powerful, because he has this connection between man and spirit. So it's almost like he understands our voices, but he says very little. He's just more aware of his surroundings, his connectedness, and he pays attention to what's going on around him. So really, after all of his job, ultimately is to transport these messages from one dimension into another. So when we pray, he's kind of invoking his aid to kind of relax us, to invoke the prayer. I don't know if you've ever prayed out loud. Sometimes you flumble on your words, right? So our messages really are going to be heard. That's his job, if you will, and listened to as long as he's kind of present. So that's just an awareness, is when music pops in your head or you get a message through a song, our intuition channel, right? So since we have him online for the entire season of Pisces, I really think it would be great for us to connect with him. I'll be doing a podcast dedicated with him, or to him, I should say. So yeah, it's just said that his work and his energy, whenever we see life energy of creation, vibrant colors, trees, flowers, a clear blue sky, a golden sunlight, he is kind of like the guardian of the earth plane. And he's in charge of even our nutrition quotient and our well-being, our health. So really, his message is also to get out into nature. And that's where we're going to find our healing, our inspiration, things that are going to motivate us to sustain life and really revive our souls. But he really wants us to connect with nature, the beauty of nature, through those healing frequencies and those healing energies that nature really carries, and just connecting directly, if you will, to the Great Spirit and the divine, and enabling us to draw the health and prosperity into our lives. But again, his relationship is special as well to musicians and music, especially when it comes to writing or performing. So I would say if you are a musician, I would totally call him in, because if you're searching for inspiration, he's the angelic being that you should also turn to. But being that our heart and our spiritual essence are really merging today, coming together, we could really say that this is a very sacred, kind of delicate essence of who we are. So it's kind of this infantry of innocence that's part of our soul, and it can only be reached by deliberately bringing ourselves into a space of sacredness, our sacred heart, through meditation, really just connecting to the divine essence with Sandalphon. So it's like the energy of spirit. Sometimes it can feel overwhelming, overjoyed, right? But being that it's the magical essence of our feelings and what we sense, we need to come from our own inner self first. So be really compassionate to your essence, who you are, to yourself, inside of yourself, and just know the energy of creation, co-creation, that's kind of casting a spell upon us, which is this unconditional, flowing, loving, embracing frequency. And we can really grow spiritually, spiritual growth, through the season of Pisces. So it's like opening our heart to our spiritual acumen, which I love in my divinations. When that's activated, it kind of like, woo, sends me into looking to the other angelic beings when I'm doing a spread. But it's our subconscious frequency and also that energy as well, the subconscious, and we become conscious of it. So this kind of combination really brings things to the surface, the memories that are in our bones, our subconscious, that our heart's still attached to. Those essences really need healing or seeking an experience. So it's through these Akashic records, the book of life, timelines, patterns, other lifetimes, that we repeat these energetic hiccups. And again, it's just a different frequency and a hiccup. So you might have a feeling of being overjoyed today. Maybe you have some heartache even. It really just depends on what our heart is ready to take action on in those thread lines. Notice and experience, or ultimately different aspects that we want to heal. They're usually triggered by our heart, because our heart knows the karma inside of us. So it's like clearing out the cosmic cobwebs, our karmic subconscious memories, if you will, that are really tied to how we love ourselves or how we don't love ourselves. So there's like forgiveness, compassion, just releasing them down into those waterways. So if you have memories, past life, feelings, different patterns that are floating or bubbling to the surface, ultimately be compassionate with yourself. Pour more love in your sacred chalice, your heart, really allowing yourself to be cuddled in those arms of Sandalphon or any angelic being that comes through, and really embrace the source and allow the spiritual healing, the essence of who you are and what you've come to learn on planet Earth or the Earth plane. So feeling good truly comes down to how much we love ourselves and how much we invest in our frequencies, planning, decision making, metal, and how much love that we invest in our decisions. It really comes from the belief of what we deserve. So how much love do you believe your future plans deserve? So really take some time today, invest some love into your galactic future. It's kind of like our otherworldly bank account. It's in the reserves. It's our soul's capital. Or even in exploring our relationship to ourselves. Marry yourself. I did that years ago, and it's like, okay, what's the habit and what are our day-to-day relationships with our inner world? That kind of determines how people relate to us in life. So if you're disrespecting to yourself every day, you're going to be disrespected in your everyday outer world as well. So if you're loving yourself in your inner world, you're going to be loved in your outer world as well. So just kind of tune into your frequency, your habits, your behaviors. I would maybe take notes and just notice maybe if you have a pattern, a behavior that's motivated by a desire to actually authentically love yourself or by the fear of something else. So really connect really with your heart today and just learn to be the observer of what you see. Maybe again, take notice of those patterns, spiritual or the other. And if they keep floating up to the forefront, like, for me, it's like, what's the karmic memo here? It's kind of time to cleanse yourself of all of those and just release it out into the galactic frontier so you can have a future life that is loving in the day-to-day reality along with our outer reality, while at the same time we're attracting the higher essence, our Sira, that resides within us ultimately. So just, what am I trying to say? You're going to have just some spiritual hiccups today, as well as those energetic ones, or through the whole season of Pisces, really, and the whole year, really. But just stretch your frequency to the great beyond, the galactic beyond. Really put together your cosmic round table, your spiritual acumen. Just be more loving and compassionate to who you have been, and really see how far you have come. Just ultimately being in the thread waves of love, those currents, the streams of love, the streams of compassion, ultimately have them, it really is the patience of Job, if you will, and celebrate those angelic messages and the magical beings that reside within you and around you, literally healing what isn't serving yourself in a compassionate way. So with all of that, I would say our crown is online. Our crown center, along with the waves of the ocean, Pisces, right? Pisces is the ocean. It's the galactic frontier as well. So for the seasons of Pisces that we're just starting, today with our heart, the queen of the chalice, and we all have that heart queen. So choose the color, the vibration that really creates an elevated heart space for you. Any shade of green that's going to upcycle your frequency. Eating or drinking your greens, that's always helpful. Drink your salad, greens, right? And we have the tonality of the yam for the heart, the sound of fire. It's the ha, the heat of the breath. You have sound, you have light. And I work with both of those in my energetic sessions through the skin. So I really have this relationship with light and sound, nature and otherwise, but really center yourself. Be heart-centric. You could utilize your solar plexus, but I would do your heart channel and just hold your inner heart and listen to the being that resides within you, because we're in this cosmic sphere where our heart and our spiritual essence is literally united or unified. So I would affirm that I am the energetic being that resides within me, and I hear the sound of Sandalphon tickling my heart. Something like that. Tune into Sandalphon and really, really allow that music to shine through you and be the light for the entire season of Pisces. And just to finish up, no show tomorrow. I'm going to be summoning up the magic of dreams, the manifestation of dreams with my collective, my little tribe. So the energetic highway users in my corridor, my online venue where my offerings are. So thanks for tuning in and being patient, compassionate, and as always, InShalla and Ashe. Blessings to you. I'll see you on the other side.